Namaskar and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 33rd episode of the Diversey BW HOTELIER, the GM show, Thursday, December 21, 2023. I'm delighted to be here today. We're in the week leading into Christmas, a great week, and what a way to head to the hills. Hills is where we are going to be with some of the finest general managers. They're pure gold general managers who manage amazing assets over there. And we have a fantastic lineup. And the topic is very interesting. It's weathering the peaks, operational challenges, and strategies in the hill terrain. Before I really dive into the show, let me begin with a short video on our partner, Diversey. Thank you, Diversey. Thank you for staying the course with us. We've done 33 shows together, and this year it's going to be 36 shows. That's a long haul, considering that we just did 20 shows the previous season. Now, let me just begin by an introduction to our stars of the day. Permit me to bring in Ajay Sharma, who's the General Manager of the Taj Corbett Resort and Spa in Uttarakhand. Welcome to the show, Ajay.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna, for inviting me on this show. I'm really looking forward for this. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to have you over, Ajay.
Thank you.
Next in is my good friend from Mussoorie, Anup Pandey, who's the General Manager of the JW Marriott Mussoorie Walnut Grove Resort and Spa. What a fantastic property.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna, and to the BW team, and hello, fellow panelists and everyone who's seeing us. Great to be part of this panel.
Thank you, Ajay. Thank you, Anup. Next in is a very, very fine lady who heads another wonderful asset from Dharamshala, if you may. Utsa Majumdar, who's the General Manager, Hyatt Regency, Dharamshala Resort. Welcome to the show, Utsa.
Thank you so much, Mr. Khanna, and to the entire BW Hotelier team. It's such a pleasure to be back again onto this show. And a very good afternoon to all my fellow colleagues and everyone who's watching this show.
Thank you, Utsa.
Thank you.
And talk about your properties, all your properties. I'm dying to be there.
Looking forward to see you here soon.
Next in is your neighbor again from Dharamshala, Rajesh Raj Purohit, who's the General Manager of the Radisson Blue Resort, Dharamshala.
Welcome. Thank you, Mr. Khanna. Thank you, Mr. Khanna, for this wonderful opportunities, and good to see you, my fellow colleagues, and good afternoon to all the viewers. Thank you.
Next in is Amardeep Singh. Amar is again in the hills, and he will tell you where he is. He's the General Manager of the Western Resort and Spa, Himalayas. Where in the Himalayas? Amar will tell you. Amar,
thank you, Mr. Khanna. Thank you. We are just 40 minutes away from Rishikesh. We are in Narendra Nagar. I think amongst all of us, we are the newest kid on the block. And
what a kid.
Thank you so much for inviting. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, BW team.
Pleasure. Last but not the least, I think the youngest on the show, if I may. At least he looks the youngest. Ankit Manocha comes in from Shimla. He is the General Manager of the Welcome Hotel by ITC Hotels, Shimla. Welcome to the show, Ankit.
Good evening, Mr. Khanna. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me on the show, and I'm really looking forward for this learning experience.
We're delighted to have you.
Thank you.
Now let's have a look at all of them together. Look at the fine properties they had. Behind them, don't you want to be there? Look at these fine assets. Look at the locations. You know, I'd give my right arm to be there, but unfortunately, I'm not qualified to be there as an employee, but as a guest, yes, soon I shall. Let me introduce the show and get rolling with it. May I?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yes, please.
So, like I said, the topic of the show today is weathering the peaks, operational challenges and strategies in hill terrain. Now, running such fabulous hotels in the hills is no easy business. It comes with its own challenges. And it's not for the faint-hearted. They're all brave hearts, they are great souls, and they're fantastic managers and operational leaders. Nestled amidst the majestic peaks of the Himalayas, Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh stand as veritable jewels in the crown of Indian tourism. There's no denying that. In the upcoming episode today, we embark on a journey to unravel the nuances of hospitality management in hilly terrains. The spotlight is on the tourism potential emanating from spiritual institutions, pilgrimage sites like Rishikesh, Hardwar, Mussoorie, Dehradun, Shimla, and Dharamshala. As we explore the operational challenges faced by general managers in these ethereal landscapes, our focus extends to strategies for ensuring guest safety, leveraging unique geography, and creating niche offerings. Let me get rolling with the show. Ajay, if I can roll in with the first question with you. Yeah.
Yes,
Let's
yes,
talk
please.
about the new unique geography. You're a Pahadi yourself, you're a Shimla boy. Tell me, examine how general managers can leverage the unique geography to create niche offerings and attract diverse traveler segments.
So I feel lucky that I have experience of both the states. So I grew up in Himachal and now I'm working in Uttarakhand. So it gives me a good exposure of both the states. So what I can tell you with guarantee is that both the places have abundance of natural beauty, and both the states are blessed with stunning mountains, lush green forests, beautiful lakes, and nice rivers. So as a hotelier, it gives us an opportunity to create unique experiences focused on spirituality, wellness, I would say adventure, culture, as well as wilderness. And I'm in the middle of wilderness, as you can see in Corbett. So I feel hotel and resorts can design most of their experiences based on the nature. So in our hotel, also in our resort, we do a lot of activities which are based on nature, like nature walks, like birding tours. So whole idea is to highlight the regional biodiversity. I always tell my guests who are coming to Corbett, especially staying in a resort, that do not look at the luxury inside your room. So luxury is outside.
Absolutely.
So this is what it is in both these states. So luxury is actually outside the room and actually outside the resort. So I would also say that these terrains are very good for adventurous activities like trekking, mountaineering, rafting, etc. So it also gives an opportunity for us as hoteliers to kind of interact with the locals and also come up with attractive packages for the guests. And as you see, most of the guests who come to these resorts stay in urban places. So I would say to detox from this urban chaos. So I think these are the best places where you can seek your soul, as in these are soul-seeking experiences. You can really spend time in spirituality or indulging in some wellness activities in the hotels. But at the same time, I would say not to forget that these states are also rich culturally in terms of heritage. So they have a diverse tradition, customs, cuisines. So I think as a hotelier, we are also responsible for somehow showcasing this to our guests. So we should also collaborate with the locals and with the community so that we can showcase what the states has to offer in terms of their culture. So in smaller form, probably we can organize some festivals where we can promote these culture, where we can promote cuisine, where we can also promote the folk of the region. And in Taj Corbett, we've been doing it quite well. So we've been engaging a lot of locals here. Coming back to Taj Corbett, so because we are in the middle of forest, so our whole focus is on wilderness, wildlife experiences, and also on educational programs where we focus on wildlife conservation and also on habitat preservation. So at the end, I would say that as a hotelier and on all the hotels and resorts that we have in the hills, so we should attract diverse travelers, but we should also be celebrating the unique geography, culture, and the natural beauty and resources of the state.
Well said. You know what I liked most was
the
luxury is outside.
Indeed, it is, because I think most of the guests may have better swanky rooms in their cities, but what they lack is the nature. So, and this is what we have in abundance. And that's for free.
And it's for free, and it's something which we are missing in Delhi.
Indeed.
Right. So good. You've really, Ajay, set us up well for this show. And you've given a damn good context. So kudos and thank you for that. Let me now just walk in to my good friend from Mussoorie. You know, when we grew up, Mussoorie was the place to be in, apart from Shimla, where Ajay comes from. So let me walk across to you, Anup. Mussoorie has actually become a little more busy than one would have expected or liked. Right. So, but the good thing is you are a little outside.
Yes.
Tell me, MICE is a huge segment. Let's talk about MICE opportunities. If you can analyze the potential for MICE in the hilly terrain.
Sure. No, that's a great one. Usually I will agree with you that, when we talk about hilly terrain, MICE is something which is not usual, right? People used to refrain and think that, locations like ours and, my fellow panelists running their assets in beautiful locations, probably MICE is not considered as go-to option. But I would like to now say, gone are the days, because earlier, the technology used to be an hindrance, but I would say now it's an enabler, right? All our assets, and everyone will agree with me that we are now equipped with state-of-the-art conference facilities, which definitely makes it just the right mix of, holding these MICE conferences in location like ours. So, from a unique advantages, I would rather say that location in hilly terrains, there are a lot of unique advantages which we can extend to our guests. And I will take you from what Ajay just mentioned. No one would like to do a meeting now between four walls in a city hotel, right? If you could do that conference in open, I think that would just be wonderful behind a picturesque backdrop. So, 5 things which I would like to highlight here as a unique advantages in a terrain like ours. First is natural beauty. Ajay already mentioned about few. I would just add to it. Whether it is panoramic views, whether it is lush greenery, I think that automatically becomes a good pull for people to come and do these MICE events in location like ours. Second would be, mixing MICE with adventure and recreation. These terrains definitely give great opportunities, whether it is hiking, whether it is trekking, rock climbing, paragliding. After a day of meetings, I think it is great to have participants indulge into these kind of activities. So second unique advantage I would say is this. Third is, unique venues. I feel that it is great to give offbeat experiences which are not usual in a boardroom. So imagine, having a wellness conference, and here I would like to talk about 2 of the experiences which we do at JW Marriott here in Mussoorie, and which is well appreciated by our guests. One is our stream experience, which we do in a nearby stream from our hotel, which is extremely popular with our guests. And we are seeing at least every second or third conference which we are now conducting in our resort, they go for that experience. So I think that is something which is great. Another one is we have a bird sanctuary which is in near vicinity to our resort, and we do a picnic sort of a setup over there with tents and everything, and that's again is very popular with the MICE operators. So I think a terrain like ours give unique venues rather than just run-of-the-mill setups. Fourth one would be wellness and relaxation. I think the terrains like ours associated with wellness and relaxation automatically. The moment we talk about hills, the next thing comes to our mind is how we can do more wellness and relaxation. And with current AQI, I'm not rubbing it in, but in locations.
Well, you have.
So I think that's the fresh air, peaceful surroundings, the calming atmosphere. I think it makes an ideal location to do MICE events in such locations. And my last would be around local culture and cuisine. Increasingly, people now look for the experiences which are more hyper local. People would like to explore locations which have cultural heritage. They would like to explore local cuisines. So I think, again, hills is just the perfect match where they can get both. So overall, yes, I would say there are few, I would not call it them challenges, but few considerations, whether it is accessibility and seasonality. That's something which we need to keep it in mind. Otherwise, I think from an opportunity perspective, hills have great potential for MICE, and I think all of us are already doing well in that segment, and we can continue to grow that segment more and more.
No, I agree. You've made a very valid point. With the amount of activity that happens around such luxury assets, it actually becomes a kind of all-inclusive offering for a client, a guest who comes and makes it their home for a while. And for that matter, for MICE, where you have strong and good business discussions, you need a breakaway. Rather than trudge it from your home to a hotel and then go back that evening, you are there, right? So thank you, Anu, very valid observations. Utsa, let me walk across to you, the home of the Dalai Lama near McLeodganj in Dharamshala.
Right.
What a location. Dharamshala, Parampur. Like I kept telling Utsa over the last 2 years, a few minutes ago before we went live, she brought that back to me that I was planning to be there. This is where my childhood holidays were. I'm sure
Right.
Dharamshala is good. It's in good hands. So I remember the food over there. So let's talk about the culinary riches, Utsa. Bring back those memories, and if you can explore the culinary delights unique to Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh, with a blend of vegetarian and non-vegetarian offerings. Vegetarians, because I am one. So, yeah.
Right.
All
Well,
right.
Mr. Khanna, when we talk about culinary delights, and I think both Ajay and Anup has touched base on the lovely surroundings that we all are blessed to be a part of it. So that goes without saying. Culinary delight has become a very unique term, because I think for all of us, the resorts that we all are running right now, people are here throughout. They're staying with us for considerable amount of time, and we just don't know who are we competing with, whether it is a local cafe, whether it is a Michelin star restaurant, or it is somebody else. So I think for us, what has happened in Hyatt Regency Dharamshala Resort, that we have curated the menus, and we want to stick to the basic. We want to make sure that people get the fresh ingredients, and definitely we are in abundance of nature, wherein we get fresh vegetables, and we must utilize them well. We have our own unique herb garden, which we produce our own herbs. It's a part of a little activity also for our guest who can go and actually pluck in the herbs. And then we have our culinary team members who would be happy to assist and prepare something out of it. Now, when we come and talk about the Himachali cuisine, there is something which is very unique and very special that's called Himachali Dham, wherein people are being given multiple number of dishes, and that's what we utilize here as a Himachali thali, which all of our guests talks about very high about it, which is a mix of vegetarian and non-vegetarian dishes. We also do a lot of Uttarakhandi special breakfast elements. My executive chef hails from Uttarakhand, so I think we get a very good blend of Himachal and Uttarakhand. And you rightly mentioned, Mr. Khanna, that this is a land of His Holiness Dalai Lama. So we do have a considerable amount of Tibetan cuisine. That's what we do. We have an exclusive person from Tibet who's here, and she prepares some excellent Tibetan dishes. So of course, definitely, when you are here, we'll be happy to showcase all of that. But again, I think our focus have been to the basic, whether we talk about kheru, which is a chickpea soup, which has been very, very well complemented by our guest over here, or we talk about the palak sepuvari, which is again a local lentil dumpling preparation, or we talk about the kumauni dahi murg, which is again from an Uttarakhand specialty. I think all of that, which is what we look at it, and I think most importantly for us is anything that the team cooks or anything that whosoever prepares, if it is cooked with the love and the passion, I think every dish comes out to its best of ability, and that's what we try and do it here.
True that, but you seem to have missed out some Tibetan beauties.
No, not at all. That's what I mentioned, that when we talk about Tibetan dishes, we do have our own menu for Tibetan exclusivity. We talk about the dim sums. There are preparation of veg, there are preparation of non-veg dim sums. There's something called tingmo, which is a Tibetan bread that goes with the shaptas, which can be a vegetarian preparation, again a mutton preparation. So again, mix of veg and non-veg preparation. So we also do a Tibetan TDH menu for our guests, though we are surrounded by a lot of Tibetan restaurants and the cafes here. But I think our team gets a very good appreciation when we talk about the Tibetan food also for the resort. So again, it's a mix of everything, because there are certain guests who wants to come to the resort and still wants to cherish the homemade food, and then there are certain guests who comes to the resort and they want to try something very, very different, and then we have also other guests who wants to try something which is very, very local. So I think it's a for every guest we have to curate unique preparation, and I'm sure my fellow colleagues would agree with me, because everybody's preferences are now different from another. So that's what we do it here.
So if one could fly into your resort, it's a beautiful. All right.
Absolutely.
Let me now walk into you, Rajesh. You are Utsa's neighbor. She spoke about the culinary aspects about Dharamshala. There is a huge spiritual angle to it. Let's talk about that tourism magnet. Can you unpack the tourism potential of spiritual institutions and pilgrimage sites in Uttarakhand? And I'm sure you're aware about Himachal as well.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. Yes, absolutely. To start with Dharamshala, in fact, if we start with the Dharamshala, there is a word called dharm. That's itself, it says everything. This place is a unique in terms of first and foremost, His Holiness Dalai Lama. That's the biggest blessing to this place, and a lot of tourism it's connected. In fact, His Holiness conduct the rituals. In fact, there is at least 2 to 3 times. There is he invite the people from globally people comes, and there is a rituals, or there is a classes. He take the classes. So that's something normally happens somewhere in March and November. These are 2 months are very important. Otherwise, also he regularly meet the people and all. So his presence bring a lot of business, lot of people comes to pay his visit to His Holiness. So that's directly, and his presence itself is it's a biggest blessing to this place. And if I talk about not only His Holiness, this place surrounded by 4 Shakti Peeth, and that's also a big, good number of people from pan India come and visit these Shakti Peeth, and there is a 2 Siddhi Peeth also. So if we talk about on an average, I was going through some data. 700 to 800 people on a regular basis coming to these Shakti plates and Siddhi place. So that's again, everything is connected. And also the same time when it comes to tourism or our business, yes, in fact, there's a new terminology, and 100% I'll agree with that. So called praycations. So people are coming for a pray, coming for a spiritual reason, and also the same time we offered a wonderful place, the hotel like us, Radisson Blue Resort Dharamsala, wife, Utsai's hotel, and a couple of other hotels, very decent hotel, branded hotels. And so this, all in all, it's a very good combination, sir. In fact, I was just wondering which other place has name itself is a dharm. You have a Dalai Lama, you have a Shakti Peeth, you have a Siddhi Peeth, and also the same time the people are, in fact, the Himachali people, I was very, very impressed. Though I come from a very different place, Rajasthan, and here the Himachali people are itself is a very religious people. So it's a very, very, good combinations. And so all in all, yes, and there's a lot of connections with the business, vacations, vacations. This is all I like to say.
Well, thank you so much, Rajesh. Yes, the Dalai Lama, His Holiness, has meant a lot for
Absolutely.
our country and for the global tourism circuit, right? So he actually pulls in a lot of Westerners. Thank you so much. Let me just walk across to you, Amar. Amar, be in Rishikesh, and if you don't talk about wellness and spa, so you're missing a big piece. Why don't we get down to discussing the role of wellness and spa services in luxury hotels, one, and capitalizing on the serene ambience of the Himalayas. So just detail it to us and roll it out.
Yeah, before I actually start, let me tell you how this entire thing went from Ajay, from the unique geographical part, from Anup not rubbing in the AQI, from Utsa making us, really, really feeling hungry, to finally achieving nirvana when it came to Rajesh. What do I say? I think it's a great opportunity. Speaking about wellness for 2 reasons. Number one, we are in the yoga capital of the world. And second, that we are a Western is a wellness brand. And the wellness industry has also experienced significant growth in recent years, from encompassing a wide range of sectors such as spa tourism, wellness tourism, or for a matter of fact, health-focused travel experiences. And you will be surprised to know that actually the global wellness economy, as on 2019, was valued at about $4.9 billion. And it is more surprising that it is 14%, nearly 14% higher in 2023 to 5.6 trillion. And there are 2 kinds of wellness travelers who would be there. 88% of them are for wellness trip. And then there is one lot which I think most of us would kind of relate to. These are travelers who would come to your hotel, but the primary motivation of the trip may not be wellness, but how your spa does, how inclined are you towards wellness, that is a deciding factor for him. And this is how we have capitalized this. Western is a wellness brand. You know, the 6 pillars of wellness for Western, which are eat well, sleep well, feel well, move well, play well, work well. All these pillars, this is our mantra for doing whatever we do. You know, we also recognize that today's travelers seek more than just comfort and opulence. You know, they are looking for more holistic wellness experiences. And at Western Himalayas, our commitment to wellness is definitely ingrained in our ethos. Beyond being just those check boxes, our wellness initiatives are pivotal component of a guest experience. So whether it is that run Western with Himalayas at the background, or adding the spiritual part to moving well, wherein you do Kunjpuri trek in the morning, that aspect of wellness which is inspired by move well pillar is definitely there. Of course, yes, the 10,000 square feet spa at the Western Himalayas with 10 therapy suite, that also leverage the natural tranquility of Himalayas, offering guests an unparalleled experience, which is not only rejuvenating but also on a self-discovery mode.
Thank you, Amar. Very detailed. I'm itching to be there, but yeah, given how things are, uh, one wonders when one will be there. But yeah, it's a great offering, and wellness is an amazing, huge segment. And India is a huge magnet, and within India, the Himalayas. Thank you so much. Let me walk across to my good friend in Shimla, Ankit. Ankit, let's talk about cultural sensitivity. Shimla, somebody who's in Shimla, between you and Ajay, one can take the question. Ajay has done his own. He's a local Shimla boy. But let me ask you if you can address the importance of cultural sensitivity in hospitality management, respecting the traditions and the values of local communities. What would you say?
Well, thank you, Mr. Khanna. Cultural sensitivity is very, very important and essential aspect of all our hoteliers. We all understand the fact that all the guests are from different backgrounds, different countries, different religions. So it is extremely important for us to make them feel comfortable and at the same time respectful, since they are coming to our hotel. So it is extremely important for us to make everybody feel comfortable and accepting the fact that they are coming from different cultures. Now, with this, there are lots of kinds of guests that comes to our hotels, and with, of course, diverse cultural backgrounds. There are certain guests who would be extremely, open to any sort of a conversations, and at the same time, there would be certain guests who would be pretty reserved with conversing with the guest. Similarly, there would be certain guests who would be very formal in approach, and the others would be informal. Certain guests would rather be very comfortable in addressing their name by their first name, and the others may consider it to be, with their prefix titles with Mr. and Miss. So dealing with such kind of guest is extremely important. Accepting all sort of guests in all our hotels is extremely important. With this, there are certain things which are also related to religious backgrounds and beliefs. Their mode of greetings may be different. Their modes of fond farewells could be different. We rather would want to take this as an opportunity to customize their whole experience with us. For example, if a Muslim checks into our hotel, we would rather communicate well to him about the food, the kind of halal food that we would be serving in our hotels, and at the same time proactively place a prayer mat or a qibla in their respective rooms. So respecting their religion is extremely important. With this, I would also want to mention that language is something which is culturally different from, I mean, and of course, India as a country has so many languages. So it will be really nice if we could have one of our employees having speaking various languages, and if we match with the guest language and the employees, it becomes extremely comfort for the guest, and the guests feel extremely trustworthy and respectful if they're communicating in their local languages. Also, there would be certain guests who may not be, there are certain non-verbal guests who would be uncomfortable in handshakes, but the others would be. So we really need to respect every sort of, culture and relations with them. Also, the most important thing with what I have said right now is training of our team members, because that's very important. These things may sound very common and very obvious, but these are very sensitive things where one really needs to be aware of. So training is extremely, extremely important. Also, culturally, the cultural cuisines and local cuisines, giving them the kind of cuisines that they wish to have is also one of the aspects. Now, having said the accepting the culture of the guests who are coming from diverse backgrounds, it is equally important for the hotel to portray their culture. Like, for example, our hotel, Welcome Hotel by ITC Hotels in Shimla, located in Himachal Pradesh, it is equally important for us to portray our Himachali culture to the guest. So this is what they are actually coming for. Small gestures really makes a lot of difference. For example, giving a Himachali cap to the guest, and of course, it's a takeaway cap, resembles Himachali culture with the guest. At the same time, giving certain departure souvenirs of Himachal Pradesh, which resembles certain things about the state. Utsa had, I believe, mentioned about Himachali Dham, and I want to take that forward a bit. For example, in Himachal, there are a lot of types of dham. There is a Chamba Dham, there is a Mandi Dham, there is a Shimla Dham. We in our hotel have all sorts of dham together on one plate. The options available are vegetarian, non-vegetarian, and we obviously encourage our guests to have the local cuisine, and these are certain hot selling items that we have. In fact, one example that I would like to share where we had displayed our Himachali culture was actually for a Delhi wedding, where the wedding was for 140 people. And the concept of Himachali Dham is actually, in simple words, it's more like a systematic version of a langar, where we serve every dish one by one, and there are about 10-15 dishes. So, the guests are not sitting on tables and chairs, they're actually sitting on the ground. And we make them, feel comfortable with Himachali music and the taste of food, etc. So it is, of course, extremely, extremely beneficial for all our hotels.
Thank you so much. It's important to, while it's important to know and embrace their culture, it's also a good measure to introduce them to the local culture. After all, they're coming over here. A traveler, a tourist is actually a seeker. If they were not seekers, they would stay put where they are. They've come out, so they're looking to be introduced. So good that we, as they come in, we introduce them to another culture. Thank you so much. At this point, I'll take a 15-20 second commercial break, and I'll be back to you, Ajay. Welcome back. Now, we've, in the first part of the show today, we've spoken about general issues. Let's now get into specifics of operations, right? When it comes to operations, there is something called revenue. We're into all this for revenue, right? While we'll do everything to sustain our business, we have to have our revenue in place. So let's talk about revenue strategies, Ajay, if you may. If you can unravel the revenue strategies implemented by general managers to navigate the unique challenges and opportunities presented by hilly terrains, what would they be in your words?
Thank you once again. I think we've gone a good session and a lot of inputs from all my fellow GMs. So I think everybody will agree that apart from looking after the operation, which is our prime responsibility, I think driving revenue for our individual resorts and hotel is also a responsibility of a general manager. So in these hilly states, there is a clear season and off season. So summers tend to be the season and winters normally off season for hill states, and monsoon, of course, it creates havoc, and as in what it happened in this year also. So I would say the revenue strategies should be dynamic, and I think most of our hotels have been doing that. So we have season and off season, clear strategies for season and off season. So we are pricing is as in done on the base of the flow of the guests that is coming in the season off season. I would also like to highlight, I think in these resorts, most of the guests are coming on weekends because being Delhi, and I think the feeder market majorly is Delhi NCR for most of our hotels. So we also adapt a pricing for weekdays and weekends. So weekdays normally we try to do as in a filler business, as we say. We try to get the volumes in terms of occupancies and try to drive the ADRs on the weekend. So based on that, so MICE, as I said, I think this is a segment. I think most of our hotels and even here in Corbett, we try to take MICE as a filler business so that we can fill up the occupancy, especially on the weekdays, and weekends are kept for FITs purely so that we can balance the revenue better. So when we are talking about MICE, I would also like to highlight. So in Uttarakhand, so we as in Taj Corbett, and I think Amardeep has also done G20 meetings here. So MICE becomes a very important segment for us. So also I would like to say that because we are talking about revenue, so we cannot ignore weddings. So weddings are becoming very popular in India, and currently with the government talking about it, Wedding India is the new thing that Modi ji has recently said, even in Dehradun recently. So and this will be a growing, yeah. So in fact, he mentioned that every Indian should try and get married once, as in they should have one wedding in Uttarakhand. So I would say it can go also to Himachal in that way. So hopefully this will be a new, I would not say a new revenue, but a continuous revenue segment, and it is really, I would say, one of the most fruitful revenue avenue for all of us. And having said that, I would also like to mention here that so I think slowly, gradually, we have to move from the traditional way of thinking where probably rooms and food and beverage was the main focus of revenue. And today, I think we should also look at alternate source of revenue. Amar just rightly mentioned that because wellness and spa is one of, even in our resorts, wellness and spa is one of our biggest revenue generator after room and F&B. So I think this will still continue, and most of the hotels have designed some nice packages, so have we, and we market them very well, and we get a very good response on these packages. At the same time, I would also like to mention that we need to have a collaboration done with the locals. So in Corbett specifically, we have designed some packages where we take people on a village tour. We have interactions with the community, and guests really appreciate that. So these are also an additional source of revenue. So we have also in Corbett, of course, safaris are one of the biggest alternate revenue sources, because so similarly in other locations, in probably in Himachal and other parts of Uttarakhand, we can look at similar alternate sources of revenue. Last but not the least, I would touch on the sustainability part of it. So I will like to give an example from our own IHCL. So in IHCL, under our sustainability initiative called Pathya, so we have designed these stay care packages, so staycation packages, so care packages. So what happens in this package is that guest has a chance to interact with the locals. So so this is specific to a region. So like in our resort, specifically in Corbett, we interact and we encourage guests to interact with the Tharu community, which make these moonj artifacts and baskets, etc. So we have guests going to these places, and it is really well accepted by the guests. So I would like to close it by saying that it is crucial that we ensure these experiences and all these revenue strategies what we make, they should be in collaboration with the locals, of course, and we should also respect the region and the environment and the heritage where we are in. Thank you.
So tell me, you have season, you have off season. Don't you have these festival discounts?
In fact, what happens during the festival, our prices go a little higher. And we are in Corbett, so Corbett really don't have a clear off season. It's only the monsoon that really affect us. So yeah, in that way.
Yeah, now that was on a lighter vein, but thank you so much.
But you are any time invited, we'll have a special package for you.
That's so sweet of you. Now let me walk back to you, actually, not across to you, Anup. You know, we can decide to do everything ourselves, but it doesn't work like that. Life is all about partnerships. So let's talk about strategic partnerships, if you may, and tell us a bit about collaborations and partnerships that luxury hotels can forge to enhance the overall travel experience for guests. And for hotels, it becomes extremely important to put their best offerings forward.
Great. No, totally agree with you. And I think, the reason for this is that all of us operating hotels and resort in this luxury space, I think slowly these partnership and collaborations, they are becoming differentiators, right? Because, technically, if you see all luxury hotels, just the destination is different, but purely from an asset perspective, everyone is offering a great lodging as well as food and a wellness offering, right? I think now slowly every hotel is looking for these strategic partnerships which differentiate them from the other. So, definitely these partnerships are extremely important because they give access to unique offering. You have experts who's doing this. And I think these partnership brings in deeper engagement with the destination itself where you are going. And I think that's the key here. So before I talk about, what are the few partnerships or collaborations a luxury hotel can venture into, it is extremely important to also talk about that what are the few things we should consider before foraying into any partnership. So I start with the first one is, as a brand, all brands are very different. Like Amar was talking about, Westin as a brand is known for its wellness, right? And so every brand is unique and there is a brand differentiator. So before we get into partnership, I feel it's very important to have a shared value with the person or the organization you are partnering with. It's extremely important. Second, to also consider that how mutually these partnerships can benefit both the stakeholders. My third point here would be that how authentic and exclusive this partnership is, right? The location where I'm doing this collaboration, it has to be unique to that destination. There is no point doing a very generic offering in a place just because everyone is doing it. And my fourth point here is how seamlessly you can integrate into your operations. So these four, I think it's extremely important before we foray into any partnership. So there can be plenty collaborations and strategic partnerships I feel hotels can foray into. But I would like to highlight two. I think we all spoke about, gastronomy experience. I think that's extremely important for any traveler who's on leisure or on business trip. So increasingly, we are seeing that there is a lot of focus on local produce, Gone are the days when people used to look for imported stuff. I think now more and more people would like to experience what's local. Utsa mentioned about the same and other fellow panelists as well. So I feel good collaboration with local producers is something which everyone is foraying into, and I think it's a great collaboration and partnership, and it's also a way to giving back to the community you operate in. Happy to share one of the initiative which we have at our resort. We have something called JW Garden, where we grow our own vegetable and herbs. Of course, they're not enough to sustain the entire operation. So what we have also done is we have tied up with few local farms, and we do a lot of purchase from them, and that's something which is a great story, because we tie up and we tell our guests that starting from the welcome drink to the room amenity to few dishes on the menu is from the JW Garden itself. So I think that's give us a good story to tell to our guests. So I think that's one. Second, I would also like to mention here that how we can build a deeper connection with the local community we operate in, whether it is local artisans, whether it is musicians. I also would like to share, we support a school nearby. We have a school which is run by a Canadian lady for underprivileged children, and we support that school. In fact, 3 days back, we did our annual tree lighting ceremony, and we have these kids from school who has come over to do the Christmas carol, right? And all our guests, they were so happy, and the engagement was so high that in fact there were few guests who end up sponsoring few kids from that school. So which is a great story. I think our guests look for these meaningful experiences these days rather than just run of the mill. So definitely I feel in terms of offering unique experiences where they can discover the local and create a more deepest understanding, I think such collaborations are the way forward for every hotel.
True, Anup, that's very valuable, what the Canadian lady has done and what you people are doing.
Yeah.
After all, if we are there in such locations, we need to create a positive change in the lives of the local community, right? Be it sourcing from them, be it helping them with our hand holding and everything. Oh, thank you so much. That's very valuable. Talking about people, Utsa, I want to talk to you about people skills and HR strategies and pick your brains on this. It's all about building and retaining high performance teams and innovative practices and employee management training and skill development. And also in the context of bringing in the local communities for meaningful direct or indirect employment in your hotel.
Right, Mr. Khanna. I think everybody on this call would also agree with me that the business that we are into, this entire business, people are the heart of everything that we all do. We all represent some very beautiful resorts, some beautiful hotels, but they are actually all building. If we do not have the right people, if we do not create a right culture, a right working environment where people are respected, where the people feel that yes, their opinions are heard and they are learning something new, I think that's what is the motivation factor for everybody. Now, if we talk about human resources, it's a very vast thing. So I think on a nutshell, if I have to talk about it, that there are certain best practices that what we do in Hyatt Regency Dharamshala Resort. Definitely the first thing is the training, the orientation schedule that we have. We have a very structured orientation schedule because those are the initial days wherein we want our team members to settle down really, really well, understand that what are they going to offer, and it is all about the deliverables. It's all about the storytelling, that how do we communicate to our guests. Apart from that, when we talk about the skill development, I think lot of focus or a lot of emphasis that we give over here are the not only just the departmental trainings but the generic trainings wherein an engineering team member gets a training from a finance manager to understand that how can he manage his personal finances well, or a F&B service person gets onto a training from a firefighter officer to understand that if in a night shift there is something goes wrong, how is he able to fight for that emergency. So I think there are a lot of small things that we keep doing, wherein we make sure that we actually add value to our team members and they are confident that they represent a resort and not only just a mere department, because they can also utilize them as some beautiful conversation starters with our guest, wherein the guest feels that, they are talking to a brand ambassador of this particular resort and not somebody only from a front office or from a food and beverage service person. Having said that, we also have a butler concept in our resort, wherein we do some extensive training program for them, because that's very, very exclusive. Those have been done for our residents, guests, and it's a 24/7 job for them. So they also need to be really, really well trained. Now, when we talk about the development plan, I think a lot of, since our organization, we have a lot of internal transfers. We do our interdepartmental cross training. A finance person goes to a front office, learns how to take a check-in, or a front office person goes to housekeeping, or a laundry person comes to front office. I think these are certain key factors which have really, really worked for us. Also, I just wanted to add, since we are in a terrain wherein the transportation and the commute is a challenge for all of us. So we do have our associate facilities wherein we have the accommodation being provided to our team members. We do have a pickup and drop off service based on the shift timings for the entire team that we cater to the resort. And I also want to pick up something which is very, very important, which Mr. Khanna, you mentioned, and Anup was just talking about the local community. So we work together with the local community extensively. We work with a NGO. They are running a school for the specially able children. So we do have some of the team members of us who are working with us from that school. We have a very beautiful program called Rise High. In fact, we have got 3 interns who have joined us just today, this morning. They are also from a specially able background. And I think this is something which goes beyond for any one of us in the resort, that it's not only about just the numbers, but it is also about creating that right bond and giving that support back to the community from where we belong to. Our purpose have always been to look at people who are from Himachal or from Uttarakhand, who wants to come back towards the mountains, who wants to come back towards the roots. And of course, we also have a very good mix from people all over the country, actually. So I think our TripAdvisor responses, wherein a guest comments saying that, there has been genuine care or there has been a genuine warmth among the team, I think that's been a real success for everybody, right? Starting from a security guard to a horticulture. But also when we talk about people, I think we all are very, very cognizant enough. I'm sure my colleagues would agree that for us, people are also our investors, our ownership, our board of directors, the management company that we all, belong to. So I think as the unit leader, we also have the responsibilities to look after all the people aspect, but definitely to sum it up, I think the people, the team members, they're the real stars that we all have, and the kind of terrain that we have, we go through a lot of challenges. I think Amit was mentioning about the monsoon, the winter. We do get a snowfall in our property. We are at a beautiful location wherein we get snowfall, though it becomes very beautiful and exciting for our guests, but it brings a lot of challenge to our team members. And
which is what I'm going to take up with Rajesh now, but you made a very important point. My takeaway is also that in the locations that each one of you have these wonderfully appointed assets, these are large, expensive, and very elaborate assets.
right.
You are perhaps the bigger employment churners, right? Right. So
Right.
you mean a lot for the local community. Once you are
Absolutely.
there, imagine if majority of your staff was to come from a Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, or somewhere, right?
Right.
It would be self-defeating. So we
Absolutely.
have to bring in the locals into our fold.
Very
Start
true.
from the start and let them grow as we go along.
Very
So
true.
about, you spoke about snow and all. weather challenges. If I can come to you, Rajesh, about weather challenges, that's a very, very big thing to manage. And I'm sure people in the hills know how to handle it. Tell us about the operational challenges posed by the unpredictable mountain weather and strategies for mitigating its impact.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. It's such a wonderful, wonderful conversations we are having. Just to take the points what Utsa is talking about, and you rightly said, Mr. Khanna, about the people. Yes, in terms of a people, weather, handling, we all are capable to we know this is no doubt in terms of comes to a weather. These are extremely challenging areas. Extreme cold, snow, roadblocks, landslides, connectivities, the list is long. But yes, to manage this list, first and foremost, the people has a very, very big role, as rightly said by Utsa and you. So what we did, okay, initially in when this is just 3 years old as a Radisson hotel. Initially, yes, we also have people from the various part of India, and gradually, our attrition level was a challenge, because and then we changed the strategies, and we gone local. So today, if I talk about my 80% people, team members are local, and my iterations level gone below 3. So this is something that's one. Comes to the second point, weather. Yes, it's a challenge. No doubt, to manage these things, you have to have extremely strong plan in place. Be it your ERT, be it at coordinations with the local administrations, and you need to have a flexible business approach. I know for sure we recently hosted, Mr. Khanna, ICC World Cup. The 5 matches were there in Dharamsala. The whole administration was with us. Whole, the team and everyone was. There's only one thing was a challenge. It's weather. Everyone was talking about only weather. So yes, you need to have a very detailed plan. You need to have your plan in terms of people, your training, your fire, your, in terms of ERT, 24/7. The manager in the hotel. I mean, the manager on MODs, and these are the things you have. We keep our trainings, especially on ERT part, frequently. In fact, normally we know for sure we all are matured enough and in the trade for a good long. Normally we used to have a once or the ERT training, but here in such a place, every week we talk about the extreme situations, how to handle it. Even if we are middle of a jungle, and at any point of a time that element might attack. We had a couple. So those, how are we going to handle it? So yes, extreme planning. You need to have a very, very strong plan in place. You need to have a people in place. There has to be very trained. Communications with the local administrations has to be in place. Any small things has to be coordinated with the local and with the brand level all. So yes, challenges there, but it's with you have a right plan and people in place, we are meeting those challenges.
Well, thank you so much, Rajesh. That's very detailed and very appropriate. Yes, weather challenges are there, and coming from weather challenges are a lot of environmental issues, right? For instance, conservation. On that, I shall walk across to Amar and pick his mind. Thank you again, Rajesh.
Thank you, Mr. Kata.
All right, pleasure. Amar, tell me, about environmental conservation. Luxury hotels are demanding and they take a toll on our environment. If you can explore the initiatives for environmental conservation, sustainability practices in luxury hotels, amidst these pristine, natural and beautiful locations.
First to start with, Mr. Khanna, I'm a I am a very big advocate of when it comes to, environmental conservation or sustainability. And then I was listening to Ajay, Utsa, Anoop, each one of them. They're doing some brilliant, things. But I think what was most important, and one commonality which was there amongst everyone, was the genuineness of making that effort to actually take that extra step to do certain things. Okay, we as hoteliers, we have old hotels. Some of us are lucky to have new hotels. Okay, a lot still can be done from a hotel operational point of view. And in recent year, of course, yes, it's not something which we all don't know. The hospitality industry, particularly luxury hotels, have undergone a paradigm shift when it comes to environmental conscious practices. Not only because it is something which excites the Gen Z. When we say the Gen Z, our own employees, they really look up to us when they see if we are doing something like what Ajay said, Utsa said, and Anoop had pointed about, or going to these schools, adopt to them, etc., etc. Yes, it may not be a complete bit with sustainability, but it definitely is something which would tickle your consumer's mind. And sustainability is a growing social issue. It is something which we need to pass on to our generations. I mean, what we got from our fathers and forefathers, are we going to pass on to our generation? No, of course no. It's not going to happen till the time each one of us step in and take that extra bit up. And if you really talk about from a revenue perspective, as Ajay mentioned, where they would get their guests to a specific place. Mind you, Global Sustainable Tourism did mention that in 2019, overall sustainable tourism valuation was about $181 billion. Okay, Booking.com, when they did a survey, they said that 70% of the global travelers are more likely to actually book the hotel which are more eco-friendly. Okay, and absolutely, it's about not only about what all steps do we take, it is also about what we give back to our community. So our commitment to sustainability is both responsibility and testament for our dedication to the planet. And we actually take a lot of pride in what we have done. First of all, fossil fuel. We are a new hotel, so we had that advantage. Okay, but except for the backup generators and the backup fire jockey pump generator, rest everything is on electricity. There is no usage of diesel anywhere else, to an extent where the laundry also is operated on gas. Okay. Our rainwater harvesting system, we are more than 85% of our water is actually reused. Okay. Elimination of single-use plastic. We actually have a in-house bottling plant which produces about 1,000 bottles per hour. So you can just imagine number of elimination of number of single-use plastic bottles. We do not use those normal plastic PVC key cards. Yes, the ones which we do use are a little bit expensive, but we use the bamboo key cards. Okay, so that is again something which is there. The pens which we use are made with recycled paper. Okay, when it comes to waste management, we have about 12 acres of landscaping, and whatever food waste which comes out, it's actually done on a processed in an organic waste converter, and that's how we manage it and use it as manure. So it's more about, these were the certain things which is more about how as a luxury hotel you can contribute to sustainable practices.
Amar, that's extremely important. First thing is that we've got to be alive and conscious to what we are doing to our environment and what is it that we are going to leave for the generations which are going to come. And also we are also in the service of the local community. So protecting their environment is extremely important. All right. Thank you so much, Amar. Very meaningful response. Ankit, let me circle back to you for the last question of the show. Technology and mankind, technology and hospitality are now equal partners, right? They lean on each other, but more of hospitality leans on technology, and it's such an enabler. Technological advancements are here to stay, and they keep moving every day. And tell me, for enhancing guest experiences and operational efficiency, what is your say?
Well, thank you, Mr. Khanna, for this topic of technology. I would want to mention that whether it is for enhancing a guest experience or operational efficiency, there are a lot of benefits of technology, and we are all surrounded by technology. In fact, this Zoom call that we are doing is also a big technology that we are dealing with.
Yes.
Now, with this, I would also want to mention that whether it is enhancing a particular experience, making sure a guest having a seamless experience, or internal operations efficiency, the benefits of technology is that it completely reduces the manual errors that one can have. It also enhances the experience, as I mentioned, but at the same time, it gives the opportunity to all of us, all the hoteliers, to ensure that we basically follow the right processes, and at the same time we deal with volumes, and we can deal with many more guests using technology, and while ensuring that everybody has a comfortable stay. Talking about guest experiences, these days we send links to the guest, and guests sitting at home or while they are traveling, they are completing their pre-check-in formalities, and by the time they reach at the reception counters, their formalities are 90% to 100% done, and only thing that is left to them is assigning of the room and giving them. Now, at the same time, these days guests also have the technological QR codes, etc., where it becomes a key card less sort of a check-in, where with their mobile phones in countries abroad, they open the rooms with their mobile phones. Now, with this, COVID has also given a lot of technological ideas to all of us. As simple as a contactless checkout, where these days we have Wi-Fi cards, credit cards, we have UPI and Google, the QR code transactions, where it is extremely seamless, any sort of a checkout experience. When the guest enters into the room, majority of the hotels have iPads. They're having an entire controls, the lighting control system and the music system, and even a telephone system through an iPad has become so seamless. We have QR codes in various hotels where you just scan the code and you are able to give a feedback to the management, and it pops up into the management cell phone through, let's say, Revenate is what the software is, that a particular guest needs a particular services, or whether they want to appreciate the hotel staff, or whether they share their dissonance or something, the lapses that they may have. So these are certain ideas of technology when it comes to guest experiences. In terms of the operational requirements, technology has helped all of us in the long run. For example, forecasting or budgeting in revenue management and inventory control has become so simple these days with various softwares and technology that we have. With this, the data storage of the guest and their histories, etc., has become extremely simple. Gone were those days of manual paperwork exercises. Also, with regards to the operational efficiencies, I would also want to mention certain points where Amar had also mentioned about certain ideas where majority of the ITC hotels deal with is something called as responsible luxury. Everything about responsible luxury is technology, whether it is carbon positive, whether it is solid waste recycle positive. Few ideas for carbon positive would be, a whole setup of a bottling plant. We in ITC hotels called as Shunya Aqua. Now, Shunya means zero and aqua means water, which means zero carbon footprints, and the bottling plant is right there in your hotel. Also, certain other ideas of single-use, avoiding single-use plastic, could be a wooden toothbrush or a wooden shaving, razor or something. These are very small things that the hotels have come up with, and everything I would say is completely technology driven. So we are all surrounded by it, and I'm sure in the coming days a lot of innovations are happening, and things will get much more easier and easier to handle bulk businesses.
Thank you. I really at times wonder, how did we reach so far without the aid of technology? It's all happening. Imagine if we've reached so far without technology, where are we going to go with the aid of technology, right? So it's all happening. Only yesterday we didn't know about ChatGPT. ChatGPT is par for the course. We were talking about social media. We were talking about LinkedIn for jobs. Suddenly we didn't have to call up somebody for a job when we wanted a growth or something. There was LinkedIn. There was Naukri.com. So it's all happening. All in all, it augurs well for the industry. It only spares a lot of time for us to focus on things which we could not give time to. Am I right, Ankit?
Absolutely, sir.
And the good thing is we're conducting this and it's all on our mobile.
Yes.
Right? So God has been kind. Life is simpler and our Indian engineers are doing well. Thank you so much. I've had a most wonderful show. Wish I could have done this in person with you all. Well, someday we shall all do it together. But the good thing about technology is you are 6 general managers across 2 states, across various cities, on one show together. Imagine. Life is beautiful. Let me sum up the show if you give me the permission. Don't go away yet. Stay there. I have a lot of Thanksgivings to do, including to you. This episode has promised a deep dive into the enchanting world of hospitality management in the Himalayan realms of Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh. The general managers that you are steering luxury hotels in these terrains, you exemplify a delicate balance between operational prowess and visionary leadership. And I'm serious about that. Will I be able to do what you guys do 24/7, day in and night out? I would not be able to do it. Your schedules are far more demanding than that of a cardiac surgeon or a gynecologist, right? They can plan their surgeries. You can't. Your guests are very demanding. And I mean it. I say it with hand on heart, right? So we've gleaned through insights from your experiences and strategies, discovering the art of weathering the peaks in the hilly terrains. I've had a wonderful show. Thank you so much for being there. Ajay, our first show together, you presented a great case for your hotel and brand. Thank you for being there, Ajay. Anup, our second one together, you all had amazing assets. You're again a brilliant ambassador for your brand and hotel. Utsa, Bengali in the Himalayas, you're doing extremely well. Look at that beautiful asset. What an asset.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to see you here.
I'll see you there. This is calling me. Rajesh, thank you again. You hosted some of the most well-known international cricket teams and IPL cricket teams, and you have a great hotel. I've heard very good things about your hotel.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. Thank you so much.
There. Amar, new but happening hotel. Huh? We'll see you soon. The boy from Gurgaon, Chandigarh and Gurgaon, conquering it in the Himalayas. Good show. Have I missed out anybody? No, I have not. Last but not the least, another Delhi export to Shimla, Ankit. Ankit, great. I hear a lot of good things about your hotel. Gautam keeps talking to me about your hotel. He says, "Udhar zarur ja, wo dekh ke aa." So God bless you. I've never been to Shimla. Someday I shall get
Definitely,
there.
sir. Thank you so much. Please come
All
also.
right. God bless you. Thank you all for being there. Before I go away, a big thank you to Diversey, my partner for the show. So tomorrow, December 22nd, Friday, 4 p.m. again. It's only natural that we move from the Himalayas to Kashmir, the higher reaches of Kashmir. We'll be in Katra, we'll be in Gulmarg, we'll be in Pahalgam, we'll be in Srinagar. We'll be doing a lot of stuff, right? So we'll have another very interesting show. Be there, watch us. Before I go away, thank you so much to Team BW. You at the back end do a lot of stuff. I'm not going to name you all because the stars are sitting over here. So let me now begin by thanking you all, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. Utsa, let me begin by thanking you. Thank you for gracing our show. You make life
Thank
beautiful.
you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Khanna.
Yeah. Ajay,
Pleasure.
our first show together. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Khanna.
Thank you. Anup, thank you for being there.
Thank you, Mr.
Rajesh, thank you again.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna.
Amar, wonderful seeing you. Wonderful seeing you all, of course. In fact, thank you for being there. Last but not the least, Ankit. So nice to see you.
Thank you,
God
sir.
bless you. You
Thank you,
made
sir.
our show beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you for your meaningful submissions. Blessings, lots of blessings, and a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you all.
Same to you, sir.
Same to you. Same to you.
Bye-bye.
Wishing everyone